Here's half a dozen items that I found in New York when I attended the toy fair last week. Not only for the toy fair itself, but also for the shops around Manhattan and one or two contacts I've got there. The first one in fact came from a contact. It's a pad block of paper for making notes. But as you're making the notes, you can also make a sculpture out of it just by screwing the paper sideways like this. And you get some lovely patterns and effects from it. And it still doesn't destroy its functionality as a pad of, well, over 1,000 sheets, I would think. If you are tired of that sculpture, you can merely flatten it like that and pat, 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 and it's gone back to a block again, a paper pad. A pair of scissors. I think Pilon produced this of Paris, but they have a couple of shops in New York, and I like the idea of a scissor that looks like a rabbit, and yet they're perfectly functional as a pair of scissors. But they can sit in your desk posing as a rabbit with its arms akimbo. That was a nice one. This curious object made by a Polish mathematician calls itself Kaydrawn, and it shows a perspective of the world. But in addition to that, when you flip the pieces over, the 11-sided figures, you see the sky at night. And the way he's arranged it is that when you place this over this to make a cube again, the star constellations there exactly match to what you can see at the various points of the planet Earth which you're standing in, so that each star is exactly over the corresponding part of the Earth. And it makes a star map, it makes a globe map, it makes a number of beautiful shapes. Kaydrawn. Another star, this time from Brazil, and these two different sizes can be used for Christmas ornaments and decorations. I think they're very pretty. But they come together in a very unusual way. It starts as 3 pieces of plastic. This is the small version, the yellow version, with curious slots, all exactly the same pieces, and they come together in a quite unusual way to form an orthogonal star like this. This is the larger version, that's the smaller version, and many different designs, and they spin well as well, and they make a nice decoration for Christmas time. But the method of putting them together is quite unusual. A lovely bit of artwork from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This is a sliding block puzzle with these last pieces able to cover and uncover various colours to create a series of, first of all, primary colours, and then when you've played around with it, you realise you can get secondary colours out of it. The aim overall is to go from this primary colour stage it starts at and end up with these double colours, orange, purple and greens. It takes quite a few moves to go from this stage to this stage, and each time you move the blocks you get a surprising change of colour from the pieces. And the last item is a skillful toy which requires a lot of practice, which I haven't yet done, but it's a top with a bouncing ball that bounces. And this curious ring here has a rubber circumference here, so that when you spin it, the rubber acts on the spindle and allows you to speed up these up. Let's spin it a bit harder to start with. Now, if I move it like this, what I'm doing is I'm putting energy into the top. It's rubbing itself around the circumferential ring and going faster and faster. The people who marketed it flashed it with a strobe in their laboratory and found it got up to about 900 RPM, a considerable speed. I'll only do a little fraction of that, I think. When it's going good speed, you can make it bounce. Boom. About 6 foot high, they claim it bounces. But of course, once it's spinning, it's quite stable, so it'll do several bounces before it slows down again. So 6 unusual toys from the toy fair, from the shops around New York, and from friends who I meet there. A good week's work.